What's up, guys? It's Lefty here. We're talking NFL Week 8, 4 p.m. games. First one up, I'm going to run through all the 4 p.m. games in this video. We got Browns, Seahawks. Seattle was -3 up until earlier today, Wednesday afternoon, that is, when Watson was announced out. Line moved to -3, but that Seattle -3 was already partially reflecting another P.J. Walker start. Browns also will be without running back Jerome Ford, who's been looking good as of late. He has a multiple week injury. It's been all one-sided action on Seattle. Nobody really wants anything to do with P.J. Walker. Still don't understand what's going on with Deshaun Watson. He banged his head versus the Colts, but gets medically cleared to return to the game, but Stefanski decides to go with P.J. Walker, who is just not an NFL starter. Now they go across country to play the Seattle defense that's quietly becoming one of the best in the league, or definitely top 5 in my opinion. Seattle is just an overall interesting team. They're getting healthy, and it's not like Arizona is a team that will test you, but Seattle got the win and covered despite being -3 in turnover margin. To not only win, but to win by double digits and cover the spread is impressive with a -3 turnover margin. You can get away with stuff like that versus a team like Arizona, but not many other teams. Too many careless turnovers by Geno Smith. But 3.5 is a tough number to lay with Seattle, but it's looking a little more appealing now if we got P.J. Walker back there. Browns get the win last week with major help from the refs calling 2 late crucial penalties on Indy. The illegal contact bailed them out, and the pass interference call that gave them 4 chances from the 1-yard line, and they needed every single one of those 4 chances to punch in. Browns defense continues to do numbers, but I think they're creeping into like overrated territory. Their advanced analytics are just like off the charts. I think we see some regression. There's no way they are good. They are as good as their numbers are reflecting. At least that's my opinion from watching them. They do have a legit game wrecker in Myles Garrett. He had 2 strip sack fumbles and a blocked field goal last week. I think one of those strip sacks was what I call a hat trick. A sack, forced fumble, and fumble recovery. That was my specialty when I played. I had 4 of those in a 10-game span. My position set up perfectly for them, being a weak side like edge rusher in a 3-4 defense. A lot of the plays that players like, I would go unblocked a lot when the play is away. And I learned instead of playing contain, which was my responsibility, and I'd get screamed at for losing contain, which, containing would have been a good team defense, but I'd go straight down the line of scrimmage and blindside the right-handed QBs at the top of their drop. If I took a loop, I'd be too late, but if I just went right down in a straight line, I got beat all the time on counters and naked boots, but hey, 4 hat tricks. It was worth it. Sorry about that little Glory Day rant right there. Sometimes I get off topic. That's it for this one. No, sorry. I'm doing all 4 p.m. games here. Let's look at KC Denver. Divisional rematch here. The first meeting in Arrowhead Stadium closed KC -10. Opening line for this game here in Denver was KC -8.5, which was basically the same exact number as the first meeting when you adjust for home field advantage. In the first meeting, it was all KC action. Nobody really wanted to touch Denver. This game is a different story. Since the opener, we've seen Denver money bring this number down, actually, to around 8.5. Both teams coming off wins. Mahomes coming off his best game of the season. McCole Hardman back with Kansas City. Where is Kansas City on my odds sheet here? Did I just scroll by them? Oh, they're right there. I'm blind. McCole Hardman back with his former team. breathing life into the skill position spot immediately. This Chiefs defense is officially elite. They got back Charles Omanahu, and he had an immediate impact last week. He had a sack and a tipped ball that turned into an INT. But as they add him back to the lineup, they lose linebacker Nick Bolton, who's done for the regular season probably, and will have wrist surgery. Him and Dawson Knox from the Buffalo Bills both having wrist surgery together. And speaking of defenses, there's been a few points throughout this season that the Denver defense has been ranked as the worst defensive unit in the league. But if you just remove that Miami game, Denver's defense is nowhere close to being the worst defense. Not saying, it was just the Miami game that was bad, because Chicago game, that was a bad game too. Yeah, I mean, Denver's yards allowed per rush and pass are just skewed really because of that Miami game. Denver's defense has only allowed one red zone touchdown in the last 10 games. 10 games. 10 red zone drives. They've allowed only one touchdown. So my point with all this is, I think there's some value on Denver defensively. They're not as bad as a lot of people think. Denver also broke their streak of losing 10 straight games while having a lead at halftime. It was funny. Head coach Sean Payton was asked about this trend or this losing streak, and he took a shot at Nathaniel Hackett. It wasn't my team that lost 10 games while leading at half. And I wish the reporter said, no shit, because your teams don't ever lead at half. And the 3 times they did lead at half under Payton, they lost. So, yeah. Let's go Bengals, Niners. Market's been all Cincinnati here. Let me scroll over. All Cincy money and bets. I think bettors remember how Cincy started last year and expect the same this year, or expect Cincy to go on a run or something. And I just got a text. Sorry about that. The line for San Fran moving there is all based on San Fran player news. No Purdy, looking like a Sam Darnold start. Drastic situational difference here with one team, Cincy, who's coming off a bye week, and their opponent, San Fran, playing on a short week with travel after a Monday night game in Minnesota, which is the shortest possible week you can have in the NFL. So big situational edge here for Cincy. But San Fran's just so good at home. It's tough to bet against them on their home track. Baltimore, Arizona, the last 4 p.m. game. Market is siding with the Ravens. Almost 80% of the money being bet on this game is on the Ravens. Minus 7.5 was the look-ahead number, and this current number of 8.5 seems kind of short on Baltimore. My power rating number, based on last week's ratings, I haven't finished my ratings this week, but would have made Baltimore minus 9.5. And breaking news, there's a chance Kyler Murray starts this week. I know they said week 9 or week 10, but he practiced in full today. That's the first step in a process for him playing. Final step would be medical clearance and how he feels. And he could start if he gets medically cleared. We'll see, though. Baltimore, impressive win over a solid Lions team. Dominated both sides of the ball. It was 28-0 before the Lions even had a first down. By now, the market, has them laying a big number on the road in a potential flat spot. But the talent gap here is big enough to kind of warrant, this big of a discrepancy here. just to justify the number. The Ravens are showing what I've talked about all preseason in the team previews and the weekly game breakdowns, a high-powered offense pushing the ball downfield in the passing game. Play action was just killing the Lions. Wide receivers running free down the field. This is just a brutal opponent for Arizona right now, getting a Ravens team that's clicking on all cylinders. As long as Baltimore avoids the letdown spot potential here, it should just be all one-way Baltimore action. Those rumors of Arizona tanking, completely wrong, obviously. It's obvious now. Why even bring Kyler Murray back if you're tanking? Arizona's giving tons of effort. They're battling and running the ball. And even without James Conner, Arizona is ranked second in the league in yards per rush at 5.2, only behind Miami, who's at 6.3 yards per rush. Cards ranked third in the league in rushing yards percentage with 43% of their yards coming on the ground. Their main problem, really, from what I see, is the fourth quarter. They have a negative 60 point differential in the fourth quarter alone, which is by far the worst of any team in any quarter. And if we're going to praise Seattle for winning by double digits while being -3 in turnovers, we have to degrade Arizona for being +3 in turnovers and losing by double digits. Clear sign of a very bad team to be +3 in turnovers and not cover +9.5. This game really feels like a Baltimore is good at any number. I don't know. We'll see. If you've watched to the end, I appreciate you guys watching. I'm going to be doing Sunday Night Football and Monday Night Football next. Be on the lookout for that. Until next time, good luck with your bets.